The topic of abortion is a very touchy subject in South Africa. There's still stigma to the term abortion, which makes it difficult to speak about openly. But with a high mortality rate because of illegal backstreet abortions, isn't it about time we address this problem before we lose any more of our women? On tonight's episode, we discuss the reasons why women still choose to do illegal backstreet abortions when they have the option of free and safe termination. You're watching Beseku. We begin this episode by asking the women in Gauteng how they feel about abortions and if they themselves would procure one. Then straight after that, we give you some stats and facts on the topic. Then after the break, we hear from the youth and their opinions on abortions. Then finally, we speak to Tembekile Zulu from the National Department of Health and hear her insight on abortions. How do you feel about abortions?
I feel like it's every woman's choice, but personally I'm against it personally. Yes, because of course I'm a Christian, but I feel like women should be entitled to do anything they want to.
I'm so happy. I never had situation with abortion, and for the girls, I think it's up to them. If one girl decided to have an abortion, it's up to her. It's her life. It's her decision, and I'm okay with it.
I feel like it's up to the person in that position and their partner to decide what to do with it.
I think that just being able to be in a country where you are allowed to have an abortion, that it is a great thing. I think all women should have, the option of whether or not to keep a child or a fetus rather. So I think it's a good option to have.
I feel like abortions are a free right for any woman that exists, because if you have an unplanned pregnancy, there has to be something that you can do about it. You have a choice to do something about it.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like it's every individual's choice. If you want to do it and it's better for you then or in the future, then it shouldn't be up for judgment from other people.
If you happen to get a child, right, or just a pregnancy that you actually didn't plan for, what would your next plan be? Do you know where you'd go, or you just raise that child even if you weren't ready?
I think if you're not ready and you really feel like this is not what I want for my life right now, rather give birth to the child and then give it up for adoption to a family who wants it. And then if you can, if your family's supporting you and you can actually, go through with it, then just keep it for yourself.
But if it will happen with me, I will be really happy because I love kids, so I never will think about abortion.
If I had to fall pregnant, I don't think I would have to have an abortion. But for me, I don't think I would. I would take a decision to abort.
Okay.
But
So
that's me.
That's you.
I think that's a very tough question to ask because there are many things that go into making a decision as to whether you're keeping the child or not. And even if it's not even abortion, there's always the option of giving the child away. But in certain circumstances, if you're very stressed out, if it's really, really something that, personally, if it was really something that I didn't want, then yes, of course, I would definitely opt for that. But, as I said before, it's such a complex answer to give. It's not easy to make that type of decision, but I do like the fact that I would even have that option.
Personally, I would take the steps to actually having an abortion. Because yes, the main reason is I am not prepared for it and I don't want to force a life. Yeah, I don't want to force a life and give it something that I feel is not enough for it.
Yeah, I think I would too. At this point in time, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. Yeah.
Let's say you did want to terminate your child. Would you know exactly where to go?
No,
You wouldn't know.
no.
Probably visit the nearest clinic or yeah.
Most of these places aren't put out. They're not promoted to women. So, yeah, if you're stuck with a pregnancy that you do not want and you want to actually abort, you're going to spend a whole lot of time looking for these places, which is unfair.
It's a weird thing though, because even having the conversation with like your girlfriends is it can be very sticky, like, you know, because they ask, why are you going there? Like, why do you need to go see this particular doctor? And we haven't yet gotten to a point where a lot of people just feel super free to ask. It's not even just like about abortions, it's just about, you know, going to see a gynecologist. So yeah, I think I know where to go, but you're right in the sense that not a lot of people know where to go, and even just like female healthcare is, you know, we don't actively pursue it.
Women of all ages have the right to abortions, and they should never be denied the service because of their age. The Choice on Termination of Pregnancy Act, or the CTOP, of 1996 is the law governing abortion in South Africa, which states that up to the 12th week of pregnancy, abortion is allowed on demand. Through this act, South Africa's maternal morbidity and mortality were reduced substantially. So, where's the right place to do this procedure? Back alleys? Dodgy buildings? Never. Government hospitals, designated private doctors, and gynecologists all offer safe and legal termination of pregnancy. To acquire a free abortion, a request must be made at a primary healthcare clinic. And there, the pregnancy will be confirmed, counseling will be provided, an appointment made, and a referral letter will be given to the facility where the procedure can be safely performed. Naturally, all women are advised to opt for legal and safe abortions, as opposed to the unsafe backstreet abortions which could very well destroy their lives. There are currently 346 facilities providing termination of pregnancy nationwide. 90 in the Western Cape, 56 in KZN, and 25 in Gauteng. According to the South African national government, approximately 122,985 legal abortions were acquired in 2019, and about 109,023 in 2020. Next up, we hear the perspectives of the future leaders from the University of Johannesburg about why they think abortions are so difficult to speak about, their views on society's standpoint, and the ideal approach on how to tackle the stigma. We then speak to the representative of Women's Health, Thembekile Zulu, from the National Department of Health about abortions, and she sheds light on the matter.
Like if you are to go to a clinic, probably maybe someone in the neighborhood works there or something, then when you go there for anything, maybe for abortion or anything, they're gonna tell your mother and stuff like that, and your mother's gonna say, oh, you're having sex. Probably she doesn't know that you're having sex and stuff like that, so you'd be judged for that girl, they did abortion and stuff like that, and maybe your mother is Christian and stuff like that, so it's all about being judged.
I think it goes back to the stigma within health workers. I've often had a lot of people saying that as soon as they go to public clinics, or rather public hospitals and all of that, what they hear is, why are you here for an abortion while you're very young and all of that? Yeah. Why are you here for contraceptives when you should be at school and. But the funny part is that as much as you are there for the contraceptives, the abortion and all of that, you're actually protecting yourself, and you're not even getting help from the health workers or even the health facility as well. So the stigma plays a huge role in why people go for backdoor abortions and why people also do homemade abortions and all of that. I think if we can deal with health workers and stop the stigma, then people can stop the backdoor abortions and all of that.
It also goes back in a thing of, I think they consider themselves personally, or they think of themselves as Mary or whatever. They need to consider themselves as health workers first, because I feel like the whole judgment thing goes back to I'm Mary before I'm the the
nurse
professional. Yeah.
What is their idea of me going to be after knowing that I not sleep around, but I've had sex, then I have a kid now. And another thing is there's not enough information shared about abortion. There's more of those posters about abortion available in the numbers than information that is given to say this is where you can go to have an abortion, these are the people you can contact, this is the process. So there's less of the legal way information provided than the backstreet way. Backstreet way is everywhere. You just see that poster, abortion, a number. So it's easily accessible. So I think they should work on providing information, making it a topic that is not taboo, a topic that we can easily speak about.
If ever we had a day like Abortion Awareness Day, imagine how we could actually discuss about legal ways to do your abortions, legal ways to go for termination, share experiences on abortions, because there's still more people that are going to do abortions, and there's still a lot also that are still going to go for backdoor abortions. So if we can have an awareness day, we talk about abortions, we engage about abortions, and then we talk about safer ways about abortions. We also have clinic professionals coming along to actually educate us again about abortions, and I think that could be better, because we're going to be more aware about safer abortions and more aware of when to do them and how they are being done.
Education shouldn't just be based on the kids or the teenagers. Perhaps education should be open to the parents as well, because I feel like they also lack knowledge to what abortion actually is and what abortion is actually for. So I think the awareness should also be open to everyone, including the parents, so that it can be a norm, it can be accepted. It's also a personal thing, and it builds up into a community thing, because if I feel this way, my next door neighbor might feel the same way, but I have no reason why I feel this particular way.
There is information on family planning, contraceptives. Why do they not add abortion onto that syllabus of educating us about family planning? We have pills you can take, we have injections. There's also abortion, there's safe ways you can use. There's different kinds of abortion. We don't know, we just know the whole term, it's abortion. We don't even know that there's different ways, there's different kinds of ways to get an abortion.
30% of whoever people fall pregnant and not ready for it are going to abort, but the 70% will be embarrassed. I am pregnant. Well, I'm young, teenage pregnancy, these days it's a norm, but still there are those people who consider it as something that is wrong or it's a sin. And the judgment of I am going to the clinic to abort, the stigma of the professional health workers. So in as much as you want to promote the abortion thingy, which is legal, you still have to go to the basics of contraceptives.
Our own mothers don't even know a lot about abortions. How do they go about doing abortions, and how do they do safer abortions? So if we can educate the community at large, because I know a lot of people that use contraceptives, but then they don't know how to use them. So we can actually engage with them about how they work in their bodies, of how do you do an abortion if ever you go about having that challenge.
I feel like abortion is a thing of your circumstances don't allow you to have the child, therefore you need to abort. We also need to think, what if I do use contraceptives, however the condom breaks or the contraceptives don't break? So we need to normalize it in that sense. We need to see it in the same scale as contraceptives. Also, what if in a case of rape? You see, so that's why it shouldn't be stigmatized. I should be free to do it. Because it's in that sense, in that is.
Just normalize it.
If abortion, the effects of it is clearly defined, and we're told that, okay, this is what happens to the body, these are some of the organs that are chipped out of your body if this happens, people will be more afraid, and they'll be like, okay, let me do this, I'm doing this once, but now I can't be reckless and do it a lot, because my body inside is also deteriorating it in a way that I can't see.
I think the awareness should be also in the religious society, because there's a lot of stigma there. Because at church, they'll be judging you, like doing an abortion, it's a sin.
whereas they don't know their situation, where you come from. So when there's awareness at church, then people will be understanding more about abortions.
Let's say, for instance, I'm pregnant. I know that I'm going to be judged in church and whatnot. That's when I'm going to go for illegal abortions, because you guys are going to judge me. Yes, it's wrong, but it should be less judgmental. It should be a matter of, Ntanami, can I talk to you? You did this and this and this and wrong. Like, people should be more accepting.
If you want to do an abortion, immediately tell them that you've been having sex, which is a sin. So already you have two sins, because you want to do abortion and you had sex and other sins. So they might ban you from coming to church, because you might have an impact on the other people who are already growing up.
If you're pregnant as a teenager, you won't feel welcome, or it's like the community will be judging you, like things like that. And like, even worse, when you do abortion, they'll be like, no, it's a sin, and now you have to be cleansed and do those things, whereas they don't understand the situation you're from. So people, they should understand, especially Bombay.
Would you know the rough estimate of illegal abortions?
Unfortunately, as government or as department, we don't collect the statistics around illegal abortion. The reason why we don't collect, because as I'm saying, we focus on the legal abortion, or if I can say, those illegal abortionists, they don't provide illegal abortion in a structured building or environment. They advertise themselves in the polls, in the street, and saying that pain-free, same day, and their number is there, and the woman or the client is, they move around, and then they'll take the numbers and call them. Some of them, they're not even clinicians.
What are the worst things that can happen to a woman if she procures a backstreet illegal abortion?
The woman can die. Yeah. Due to sepsis, this person can bleed to death. Worst scenario, your uterus can be removed if it's being infected. If you're a young person, in the near future want to have babies, you won't have it. How can you have a baby if you don't have a uterus? That's the worst scenario.
So then what is the main reason women actually push for abortions?
In the country, we use the term termination. We are providing the Choice on Termination of Pregnancy Act 1996. So if they come to our facilities, they will cite that they are doing abortion because they don't have money to maintain the child. Some, they will give the reason to say, I'm still young, I'm still studying. Some, they will saying that, my husband is not around, he's working somewhere. I had a friend, so it happened that I had 1, 2, 3 with a friend, so now I'm pregnant, so I don't want to destroy my marriage. So it's quite a number of reasons.
Then why do people still push for the illegal terminations in Backstreet instead of just actually going to a legal clinic?
We still need to do more, so that our services must be accessible. There is a slogan that say, if you can't beat them, join them. I think there's a huge number of advert that is being done by illegal abortionists. I think us as government, we need to be visible so that the women, they start now seeing our advert talking about abortion. Those people, the legal abortionists, they are so strategic. They put their advert in taxi rank where there's a lot of movement in big cities, in small cities. So I think as government as well, we need to start doing that. And just a normal woman, they cannot differentiate between illegal and illegal. So if they see an advert, they will think that it's legit. They think that it's the abortion that's supposed to be offered in the country.
Do you think there's also another way, just promoting or just combating the problem of just having people actually going through the safer route?
Before actually they fall pregnant, as the woman come to any facilities in South Africa, either having a headache or coming for family planning services, we encourage nurses and doctors to talk about abortion while the woman is not pregnant. As and when, if either family planning fail a woman or woman fail family planning services. And then they know where to go. So that once you are pregnant, you don't think, well, where to go when. You know exactly that if you are in that particular district, so there are these abortion facilities that are available that I can go there. We are trying to destigmatize the abortion services in the sense that clinics that are providing termination of pregnancy, we don't call them abortion services. We are calling those clinics sexual and reproductive health clinical services. As we are calling them SRH&R, sexual and reproductive health services. And then the services that are offered there is abortion, is family planning, is cervical cancer screening, is HIV testing, so that anyone feel free and to go there. And as they go there, no one can actually say that, oh, this one was for abortion, oh, this one was for that. So it's sort of, we are bringing a comprehensive service, so that as and when, if the woman come, they get everything.
So then when would it be safe for a woman to actually go for termination?
According to the law, it's safe to do the termination of pregnancy up to 20 weeks. But then you can do it up after 20 weeks with the restriction if maybe the pregnancy is going to affect the mother or is going to affect the baby itself.
So then now, how would someone be able to tell that this is a legal facility?
In government, we've got national, we've got province, and we've got district and the local people. If you are sick, either headache or stomachache, you go to the clinic. That's where now we encourage the woman to have information, because even if that particular clinic is not performing a termination of pregnancy, but they do have information where this woman is supposed to go for legal abortion. At national level, we've encouraged the provinces to place their facility in the provincial website. For example, Gauteng have started that. So we are encouraging other provinces.
Is there any advice that you could give out there, or something that you might have missed out that could also contribute to the topic?
My big advice to the community and the women out there to say they must not go for illegal abortionists. Those people are taking advantage of them. In government, there is no one who can say, come and meet me in taxi rank. So once a person say, come and meet me in taxi rank, women must run away. Another thing what I can add to women, I think they need to understand that it's their choice. If I want to terminate the pregnancy, I am allowed to do that. You can discuss as a partner, but at the end of the day, the person who's supposed to take a decision is the person who's pregnant. Same to the young person. The person who's supposed to decide about this pregnancy is the person who's pregnant. But however, we do sit down with them and counsel them, so that at the end of the day we understand that the child is not working, it's the mother who's working. They need to come to an agreement, so we counsel them, and so that at the end of the day there must be a mutual understanding.
In their collective wisdom, the architects of our constitution defied moralists and religious groups and made termination of pregnancy legal. They wanted to give women a choice and stop the deaths of young women who are dying from unsafe, illegal abortions. But despite this, countless women still risk their lives procuring illegal abortions. Perhaps they're embarrassed, the fear of public shame crippling them into deadly scenarios. But on the other hand, perhaps ignorance about their right also plays a role. After all, people who don't know their rights don't have any rights. But the power to end this undesirable situation resides in each and every lady. Information is power. Hopefully this empowered you with information on abortion. That's all the time we have for today. I'm Tiva Mamaila. This is Besekue. Join us next time, and good night.